Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. The NBA season tips off tonight, and Donovan Mitchell says his time is now. Tony, when was your time?
I'm Tony Kornheiser, my senior prom, May of 1934. Now, that was my time.
Okay.
I went with Judy Garland.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Remember her?
I'm not a math major, but that would make you born in like 1916, and there ain't nobody left from 1916. All right, nobody.
Judy and I. It was a great evening. Loved it. Stayed out really late, till about 11. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the Lions and Seahawks win. The NBA season tips off, and Jeff Saturday joins us for 5 good minutes. But we begin today with baseball and the upcoming World Series between the Dodgers and Toronto Blue Jays. The Blue Jays got to the series last night, riding a 3-run, 7th-inning home run by George Springer, who now has 23 postseason home runs. Last night's homer gave the Blue Jays the 4-3 lead that their bullpen protected. Wilbon, what do you make of what the Blue Jays did last night and how they did it?
There's no they. There's no they. There's no mystery. Springer hit that home run. I mean, that 3-run home run, I mean, the Mariners were in control of the game and the situation. And it just felt like that. I felt like, wow, there's going to be a lot to celebrate in Seattle tonight. They're going to kick this football game off, which we'll get to. And it's just, Seattle's never been. I don't root against. Toronto and Seattle are two of my favorite cities in North America, if not the whole world. So I don't root against either one of them. So I sat there going, okay, what am I going to do here? I'm going to root for Seattle because they've never been. Because that franchise is the only one that's never been to, forget winning, never been to the World Series. And I like the Seattle personalities. They got some stars. I like their team. I love their ballpark. I like their city. And then Springer, who's already got a World Series MVP to his credit, he comes along and hits that bomb. And it's like, oh, my God, they just decimated Seattle, and they did. And I know it's not, Carter hitting a home run, Joe Carter, to win the World Series, whatever that was, 92, 93, whatever it was. But, Tony, it felt like the next best thing if you're Toronto. Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah, so I believe I had this right.
You had
Let's go back to yesterday when you refused to make a pick and you told people to shut up and just watch the game.
That's right.
And I said I favored Toronto, and here's why I favored Toronto. Because it's a hitter's series, not a pitcher's series, and I think they had better hitting. It had come around that the home teams were winning games. The road team started out winning the first 4, then the home teams won the next 2, and obviously the next 3 by winning last night. And also because twice in the series before, Mike, Toronto had fallen behind on home runs early by Seattle and had climbed back in the game and had won the game, which is exactly what happened last night. Julio Rodriguez hit a home run in the 3rd inning that made it 2-1 in favor of Seattle. Cal Raleigh hit a home run in the 5th inning that made it 3-1. And then George Springer, who now is tied for 3rd all time in postseason home runs, and who has, as you say, he's got the ring from Houston, he went boom at that point. And I'll just say this about Springer. A couple of games ago, he took a 96-mile-an-hour fastball in the right knee.
Couldn't walk.
He went down like a shot.
Yeah.
He left the game, and the people in Seattle booed him at that point.
Yeah.
There's no better way to come back than what he did by hitting this home run. And by the way, I don't disagree with not putting your closer in the 7th inning
either.
when you need 8 outs.
When
you need 8 outs.
For me, Tony, I will say this, though, about Seattle. When you got the MVP of the league next up, if you can get to him, stop swinging at questionable pitches. Stop. You can't just strike out all night long. Take a walk. Move your hip in front of a pitch and get on base. You got Cal Raleigh with a bat in his hand. And that made me feel less bad for Seattle. They didn't do what they needed to do to get to Cal Raleigh in the 9th. Last night's Game 7 swiped the spotlight away from 2 Monday Night Football games. In the first, the Lions smoked the Buccaneers. 218 scrimmage yards from Jahmyr Gibbs. And in the latter, the Seahawks beat the Texans. Both the Lions and Seahawks now are 5-2. So, Tony, which team's season impresses you the most thus far?
I'm not taking anything away from the Seahawks. They're a fine team. But they beat a very mediocre team last night. Houston is 2-4, and a tremendous disappointment after the rookie season that C.J. Stroud had, where he looked to be all-world. What Detroit has done is noteworthy. They just smothered a good team, Tampa Bay. A 5-1 team. They smothered them. I got to get this one note here. They've got the best point differential in the NFC. They're plus 64. You have said for the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season that they were suffering from a brain drain. They lost their offensive coordinator. Yes, you did. They lost their offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson. He's your coach now. He's done a good job, except the game that Detroit pounded them 52-21, right? They lost their defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn, to the Jets, where he's 0-7 and might be back on the sideline by December 15th, patrolling for Detroit. Look, they have lost 2 games this year, Mike, to really good teams at Green Bay, at Kansas City. They came back the next week after that, and their total point differential in 2 games where they pounded people is 76-30. So where exactly is this brain drain?
I don't give a damn what they did the next week. What did they do when they had to play the big boys at Green Bay and Kansas City? They got their butts handed to them. So stop slurping them. You can slurp them all you want. And I said, and I'll stand by it, that 1 week of brain drain, and then they showed they had what they needed. The other team was Sam Darnold, who the Minnesota Vikings tossed out on his ear. They're the most impressive team so far because they got Njigba and Sam Darnold. Like you would have taken Sam Darnold. No, you wouldn't have. But Seattle took him, and they've crafted something, and they have something. Yes, last night's opponent was nothing. But don't give me how great Detroit is.
That's right.
They played 2 big boy teams, 2 teams in Division I, and they got the smack beat out of them.
Detroit's real good.
That's a fact.
Detroit's real good.
Okay, you can dispute that if you want.
Let's move to basketball. I know you'll be receptive to that. And tonight's NBA openers, Houston at defending champ Oklahoma City and Golden State at the Lakers. That's a pretty loaded start. You're welcome, NBC. Well, on the NBA's your league. Tell us what player and what team most intrigues you at the start.
The player's easy, and you know who this is. If we were playing, the match game, 1974 with Gene Rayburn, see how many people get that reference. You know where I'm going with this. It's Victor Wembanyama. There's no question. And anybody who writes any name down on the card except Wemby is just being silly. Teams you can take several of. You already mentioned one of them. Orlando is one of them you could take. I'm kind of intrigued by Detroit. I want to see what they're going to do. Is there a transition coming here? Because you got space in the East, and you can have that. But Tony, San Antonio is one of them. I don't think San Antonio is going to win or anything like that. I want to see Wembanyama, who's had an incredible offseason, and he spent the whole time with monks and Olajuwons and doing all kinds of stuff to get himself ready to be great. I care about him and the teams. I didn't say OKC. I didn't say them because last year was their year to be fascinated with. I'm not fascinated with them, but I'm a San Antonio. How not to be fascinated with that young cast of characters?
Let me come back to you. Last year, you very loudly, very enthusiastically, and very early declared that the Boston Celtics would not win the championship and repeat.
Right.
And you were right. So I ask you right now, will Oklahoma City repeat, yes or no?
No. No, they won't. No, the league's too good. They have everything. Oklahoma City has everything you can have. And now the experience, the stars, the demeanor, the coachability, the coaches. They have the defense. They have everybody back. They have the personalities. They have it all. The league's too hard. You got to go through a bunch of people. So let me tell you what's bad.
Look, I don't care about the NBA right now because I care about baseball right now and football right now. And also, in the city in which I live, which is the city in which you live, the alleged professional basketball team, the Wizards, is embarking on yet a 3rd straight year of trying to lose every single game. And they've gotten good at it. They stink at the moment. Yeah. And they are cheating all of the people who are paying money for their tickets. You know what I look forward to this season?
What?
I look forward to the fact that Charles is going to be on this very channel. And I can sit with my grandsons and I can say, I know him. I actually know him. That'll make me very happy.
You couldn't find him on Turner to tell your grandsons, I know him? You needed him to be...
I don't stream. Huh? I don't stream. It's got to be on this channel. Let's take a break. Coming up, is Jonathan Taylor's huge start proof that teams can still build around running backs? We're going to ask Jeff Saturday.
I hate to let you in on this, but Turner wasn't streamed. It was on everything. We'll also ask him whether he's backing Broderick Jones or Aaron Rodgers in that Thursday night mishap. I should have mentioned Houston. Houston's worth watching. You know, they are, I mean, with a lot of attention. The Lakers are worth watching if LeBron plays. Not tonight. Maybe.
Is he going to play? He's not starting.
Sciatica.
Not starting the season.
Neither one of
How
us
about
has
skinny
sciatica,
Luka?
right?
Pardon the Interruption is presented by the... You are watching Pardon the Interruption, presented by Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea, part of Happy Hour.
All right, let's dig into the NFL trenches with our great friend, ESPN NFL analyst Jeff Saturday. Jeff, let's start with a question about your old team, the Colts. Daniel Jones gets a lot of attention, and deservedly, for what the Colts are doing. But Jonathan Taylor leads the NFL right now, 697 yards and total touchdowns with 11. Do you think that teams can still build around a running back in this day and age?
Well, let me see. The last team that won the Super Bowl was last year was around a running back, being Saquon Barkley. So absolutely. Not only do I think it can be, I think it should be done that way, right? Let's take some pressure off the quarterback and not make him have to be our hero week in and week out. You think of it, they're scoring on 63% of their drives. Jonathan Taylor, he's an explosive back that gets you explosive plays in the run game that has taken so much pressure off of Daniel Jones. And whether it's, Tyler Warren at the tight end position, or Pittman, or Alex Pierce, or Josh Downs, everybody gets a turn. But all that starts and is predicated on the run game. Their offensive line does a fantastic job, running the ball. Tony Sperano, the junior, the offensive line coach, has done a great job in their run game scheme. Shane Steichen's calling these plays correctly. It can definitely be run through a running back, and Jonathan Taylor is having an MVP season, even though he doesn't get mentioned with all the quarterbacks.
Classic football, which we love as old people. All right, I'm behavior obsessed right now, Jeff. So I'm going to start with this. The NFL has suspended Broncos linebacker Dre Greenlaw 1 game for unsportsmanlike conduct toward a referee. Okay, you had a lot of experience, more than a decade, having to talk to refs in heated moments. Is there an approach? Is there a way that you approach these guys to stay away from 15 yards and a yellow flag?
Yeah, listen, you start early in the game, right? Before there's a necessity of making a call. And you get along with these guys. They're out there to do a job too. They don't want to be the story of the game. They don't want nobody wants all that attention put on a call at some point in the game, including the referees. And so, yeah, I think, listen, I don't know what was said, but to get suspended in the NFL, most referees, I don't know the guy that he yelled at. I don't know if he's had something, but it has to be pretty bad, because there's been some really nasty things said to some referees on the sideline. I've never heard of suspending. I was like, man, whatever he said had to have crossed some kind of line for them to suspend him. So obviously you want to work with these guys so when it does come down to a big time call, you've gotten some goodwill with these guys. And we all work at offensive line, defensive line. Everybody's trying to befriend the referees as the game goes on. But ultimately, I think on the large scale, they do a pretty good job. So I don't know what was said, but it had to be bad to get a game suspension.
This next story is so cool to me. The Baltimore Sun is reporting that the Ravens have removed a basketball hoop, ping pong table, cornhole boards, and video games from the locker room, which to me, now in this day and age, there's not a bedroom, a teenage bedroom, or a locker room that's worth a damn without these things. Jeff, is this going to work? Is this going to have influence on players in the slump the Ravens are in?
I don't think one has anything to do with the other. If they were the AFC or playing for the AFC Championship a couple of years ago, and as hot as they were last year when they lose to Buffalo, what's changed, right? Do they think all of a sudden the ping pong table has manifested into some kind of thing they can't get away from, or the video games are like. Come on, I mean, whatever was going on in the locker room then, nothing's changing. They're not playing well. They're not executing. And so if it's like punitive, right? Like, we're going to punish you. If you play well, we'll put this stuff back. Okay. But if it's like, no, we're too distracted. Like, those distractions have been around the whole time. I'm not sure what this is, but yeah, whatever guys do during their break time, I really don't care. When you show up to practice or show up to a meeting, be sharp, be a professional, have a pen in hand, paper to write on. Let's get this thing done. When you walk on the field, shoes are tied, helmets buckled, we're going to work, right? But all the rest of it, it's all ancillary in my mind.
I will get you out of here on this, and I'll stay with the behavior theme that Wilbon likes so much. Steelers left tackle Broderick Jones was trying to celebrate with Aaron Rodgers, accidentally tackled him, and Rodgers appeared upset. Whose side are you on in this?
I'm on the old man side. He's too old for that big human being to be laying his body on it. You know he ain't stable. We get older. We're off balance, man. Broderick don't even know what he don't know. Everything feels good to Broderick. He'll go play a game and want to go play a game Wednesday. You know what I mean? We're like, hold up, bro. I gotta go from Sunday to Sunday. Aaron's old. His body hurts. Here comes Big Broderick bumping up on him. Like, you too big to be playing with, man. Like, settle down, dude. Take it easy on these old bodies. He had to go out west to his body guru during the off time to get himself ready. Come on, man. That's self-inflicted wounds. We can't have any of that.
That's great.
Jeff, pleasure as always, Jeff. Thanks so much.
I love you guys.
We will take one last break. Still to come, the Angels hire a former player to be their next manager. But is it the one you're thinking of?
And could the Cowboys trade for a huge name on defense? Aaron could just get some ayahuasca. There's got to be some in the locker room. An ayahuasca dispenser for when he gets, sort of bumped or jostled.
That's sort of interesting. I can imagine if you're Aaron Rodgers at 41, you're thinking, what are you doing?
What are
Get
you
out
doing?
of here.
Yes,
Don't be
I am
touching
with
me
him
like
too.
this.
Pardon the Interruption is presented by the refreshing taste of Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Please drink responsibly. Part of Happy Hour.
Happy time, people. Happy 76th birthday, Mike Keenan. The old school coach spent 20 years in the NHL, coaching 8 different teams, most recently Calgary in 2009. Keenan won the Stanley Cup with the New York Rangers in 1994, the celebrated Mark Messier team. The Rangers had not won the Cup in 54 years and haven't won it since. Keenan got to the Stanley Cup final with the Philadelphia Flyers in 1985 and 1987, losing both times to the Edmonton Oilers with Wayne Gretzky and Mark Messier. He got to the Cup final with the Chicago Blackhawks in 1992, losing to Pittsburgh with Mario Lemieux and Jaromir Jagr. So Keenan's teams were beaten by elite talent. He also coached Florida, Boston, Vancouver, and St. Louis.
He had a way about him, Tony, and I wonder if Keenan, we just saw a clip of him screaming at a Blackhawks goaltender. I think that was 1992. Is there a legit comparison between Keenan and Billy Martin, or is that too over the top to you?
It's a little over the top for me. Maybe not for you, a little bit for me. Happy anniversary, Carlton Fisk. On this day 50 years ago, in Game 6 of the World Series, Fisk stood at home plate, famously waving his 12th inning deep fly ball fair. His home run gave the Red Sox a dramatic 7-6 win over Cincinnati. Boston would go on and lose Game 7 to the Big Red Machine and continue their streak without a World Series title since 1918. The Hall of Fame catcher was a beloved player on the Red Sox and the White Sox over 24 seasons. Fisk was Rookie of the Year, a Gold Glover, an 11-time All-Star, a 3-time Silver Slugger. That World Series featured Fisk and Johnny Bench, 2 of the greatest catchers ever.
Tony, I bet nobody outside Chicago knows that Fisk played more games, 1,421 for the White Sox, than he played for the Red Sox, 1,078. If we go all-time catchers, all-time, the names to me are Berra, Campanella, Fisk, Cochran, Dickey, Bench, and Josh Gibson. Am I missing? I can't be. Maybe I'm not missing anybody, but you got Bench higher, right?
I got Bench high, yes, usually. But here's what you're missing.
What?
Cal Rawley's on that road now. He's on the road,
okay,
and we will see.
Fair enough.
Happy trails to Albert Pujols managing the Angels. The team today hired former catcher Kurt Suzuki to do it. Pujols once seemed like a shoo-in for the gig, but talks broke down in the interviews with the Padres tomorrow, a much better team. Pujols is said to be held in high regard by San Diego's 2 biggest stars, fellow Dominicans Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr. Pujols just won a title as manager of a Dominican Winter League team, and the Orioles have also been interested in talking to him about their managerial opening.
I'm sorry, but if you're going to live in Southern California and be a manager, and you're Albert Pujols, if you're not going to manage the Dodgers, it ain't going to be the Angels. You're going to go to San Diego with that lineup and that ballpark and all they got going on. At least I would.
Yeah, they're ready to win.
Yeah.
They're ready to win. It's the right place to go. Big finish. Here we go.
Let's do it.
Rick Pitino told Matt Norlander of CBS that expanding March Madness from 68 to 76 schools could only help. You surprised by that?
I don't know if I'm surprised by it, but Tony, I just don't want to see it. No more teams. Just stop. Just play the tournament. Jets owner Woody Johnson said he believes in Aaron Glenn and, quote, it's hard when you have a quarterback with the rating that we've got, close quote, ouch. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the owner, who's not a very good owner, just crushed the quarterback, Justin Fields. Who put him on the team?
Yeah.
Which coach?
Yes, who brought him
Which
in?
owner?
Yeah.
Mike Tirico interviews Michael Jordan on NBC tonight. I'll bet you're intrigued by that.
I texted somebody named Michael today to say I can't wait to see this segment tonight. You can figure out who. Trey Wingo says the Cowboys have asked the Raiders about a potential trade for Max Crosby. Big deal.
It would be if they made that. Would they trade him? Really? Would they trade him? Last one, Panthers at Bruins tonight. You intrigued by that?
No. No, it's like you said about the NBA. It's too early. For the NHL, it's too early. I peek in at all of it.
Really?
Intrigue. Let's not get crazy.
Really? Marchand going back to Boston? Really? We're out of time. Try to do better the next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, knuckleheads. Yes, I'm intrigued by Tirico and Jordan. That is what I'm intrigued to watch tonight. Here's Sports
Detroit's
Center.
better than Seattle.
Friend Michael Wilbon is blessing the program. And Wilbon, we know KD just turned 37 last month. Give me real expectations for him and this Rockets team this season.
Ooh. Well, they got big expectations, and they've been undermined a little bit, El, by not having Fred VanVleet. And people may look at this and say, oh, wait a minute, they have the following people, and they have just a growing, exploding Amin Thompson, among others. But VanVleet was critical to what Houston did last year. And without that shooting and that veteran presence, oh, wait, he already has a championship ring. I think Houston may wind up being a team we're watching at some point in a few weeks, because he's not coming back anytime soon, VanVleet, to make a deal. What do you do to augment that roster to help just sort of direct it, keep it going in that direction, and keep the momentum you don't want to lose from VanVleet going? But Houston's still going to be in there challenging. That's a really talented roster. I mentioned Amin Thompson. Kevin Durant, of course, is the closer in everybody's mind, it seems, the kind of player Houston did not have last season. And so Durant leaves a place that they couldn't possibly win, Phoenix, and goes to a place where you got a roster. I mean, remember, when you've got Şengün and Steven Adams, you've got size, you've got shooting, you've got depth, and now you bring the experience of Durant. So the expectations are high.
Yeah.
Does it mean I expect them to overtake OKC and maybe another team? Not so fast.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, he talked about that, and you talked about the roster needing a bit of a boost. He claims, or at least has intimated, that's why he took a pay cut and less money so that they would have some flexibility to improve the roster. But you do mention OKC, and certainly they've got a big, giant target on their back because they won. Which team do you think is the biggest threat to the Thunder in the West?
Well, I'm not alone in this. It seems to be a trendy pick now in the West, and that's the Denver Nuggets. And there's no more dependent on like three players. And to go out and to now have Cam Johnson, to have Tim Hardaway Jr., to have Bruce Brown back, to have Valanciunas there, you've got a roster, a full roster, not just a player who may be in Jokic, the best player in the world, not just that, but a roster, a fully developed roster around him with experience and talent and maybe improved shooting. And I look at Denver now as a team that ought to say, look who we got in the middle, and look what we've got around him, which was not the case in the last two seasons, and Denver was not able to get back in that winner's circle. So if you ask me right now, with Houston still trying to figure out what to do in the absence of VanVleet, to me, I'd look at Denver, and I might look at Denver anyway. It's hard. The league is too hard to repeat. That's why nobody repeats.
Yep.
It's not because anybody's lacking. Boston wasn't really lacking last year. I'm not talking about the playoffs and the injury to Jason Tatum. I just mean the struggle to get through all those teams, the gauntlet of teams that awaits you. I don't know that OKC, while they have everything They have the coaching, the coachable players, the superstar players, the bench, the support. They have all of it. Do they have enough to repeat? I'm not ready to go there, and I think Denver is one of the teams that's ready to take them head on come springtime.
You mentioned the gauntlet teams in the West. Are the Lakers one of them with 41-year-old almost LeBron?
I don't know that I'm ready to go there yet. And I realize the Lakers are going to be a team we must watch every night. And first of all, you got to get LeBron back in there healthy. And to me, the season starting without LeBron is a little bit of a downer because you want to see LeBron every chance you get. But DeAndre Ayton is critical to what the Lakers are going to do or not this season, because if he's the 2021 version of DeAndre Ayton, the guy who was in the middle holding it down when the Suns went to the NBA Finals, then yes, the Lakers can be part of that discussion with a recommitted or newly committed Luka Doncic. And I don't mean just conditioning. I mean defense, which I hope to see, or you can forget this discussion. But with LeBron and Luka and DeAndre Ayton, if they are all out there and ready and able, yes, the Lakers will be part of that conversation. But as we sit here on opening night and we don't know yet about LeBron, it's hard to have them part of that conversation. And by the way, the Golden State Warriors, let's not forget about them and sort of the roster they've put together, again, with the Lakers and Warriors. Health of two of the great players in the history of sports in the world, in LeBron and Steph Curry. How healthy are they going to be? How consistently are they going to be able to be at their greatest will determine or go a long way toward determining how far those teams can go by spring.
By the way, I find it so funny as I talk to someone who is also like me in the over 40 club. Like, LeBron's the closest thing we have to a superhero. How relatable is it that he has sciatica? Like, that's very 40 up. Like, I don't even know what that is, but it just feels like something that needs to be treated with a pill or
because, you're not old enough yet, I am, to know what sciatica is. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed for LeBron. He's in the category. Look, he and Tom Brady, they played through everything, right? So part of me is thinking, okay, LeBron's going to do this.
Yeah.
And then part of me is saying, you know what? We just can't take LeBron James's presence for granted.
Absolutely.
We can't.
Yep.
And nor Steph Curry. So I'm hoping sciatica get out, leave them alone.
We don't want that. You're whack, sciatica.
No.
Go. Michael Wilbon, you are not whack. We are going to let you go, but we never want to. Thank you.
Thanks, Elle.